slow.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
Shout out to Airtime, y'all podcast.
Yes, sir.
What we're going to do here tonight is kind of talk about a bunch of different things, from backcountry safety to the history of snowboarding, why shops are important or why shops aren't important. That's up to the panel to discuss. The culture, the industry, and the direction that we're going in. And I think that I've done a good job picking a widespread group of people that kind of speak to our whole community, whether they were, at the start of snowboarding, first, second generation, all the way to, somebody like Caleb Chomlack who grew up here and beyond. So shout outs to the Chomlack family that we all know and love. All right, our first topic and our first panel is going to be kind of on the history of snowboarding. So one of my favorite thinkers, one of my favorite photographers, an absolute legend in this neck of the woods, Dano Pendygrasse. You mind coming up on the stage? Why don't you do a Cliff Notes, a 15 to 30 second...
Nice and close. There we are.
30-second introduction on yourself, who you are. And go. The clock is ticking.
Pretty much a fucking legend.
Pretty nice.
I am one of the first 3 employees of Blackham who are allowed to snowboard. I think the other 2 are both dead, unfortunately. So I'm a survivor, I guess. I was the snowboard shop manager in 1991. I worked there as an employee and then started managing the place. Bought a camera, started taking pictures, got lucky, worked hard, had a real good career as a snowboard photographer.
Legend. Next up, Mikey Cicarelli, absolute legend, NST winner, ending multiple videos. What else is he done? X Games winner. I mean, Mikey C, absolute legend. How you doing, brother?
Jordy, I didn't win the X Games, but
Second place?
U.S. Open.
Shit.
But I've been a snowboarder since I was 6 years old. Grew up riding in Ontario. Been living in Whistler it's my 11th winter now, and fell in love with it at a super young age and just become obsessed like we all are. That's the beauty of snowboarding, the obsession.
Absolute legend. Next up, we have the core lord, the one and only Belioiq, the best shoveler in the sea to sky and the world. And somebody who does a lot behind the scenes for the community, and it's hard to put into words what Ben has done for our community by really giving his time away for free at some degree. Legend. All right. None of us really do, but all right, so we're going to start it off on the history, and let's just go on a very vague topic here, and we'll start with Dano, and we'll move towards Ben. Why is the history of snowboarding important to snowboarding, or is it?
Jesus. Yeah, I think it's pretty important.
Thanks, Dano.
I think that it's super easy to look at the history of anything and say if you don't know your past, you won't know your future, and I think that's important. But if you look at it in terms of wealth, the only way there's wealth in anything is if you pass down to your children or to the next generation. And we need more intellectual wealth in snowboarding, and I think that the people who have learned all these lessons need to pass those things on so that we grow and get smarter. We don't get taken advantage of, and we grow our sport in a way that's smart. See, I can put words together.
Well, Dano, that was incredible. I would say, the history of snowboarding, why it's important. We need to know where we started and where we're going to head. And I just think even for my generation to know the pros, the characters in the sport, and without that, I think we wouldn't be as influenced to become professional snowboarders, because if you don't have idols, then the whole circle will get broken, I think. So I think we need to always make sure that that's shown in our sport.
It's a two-way street, too. If you're old, it's your obligation to know who's coming up.
Straight up.
Well said.
Because I'm old.
Ben? Get that mic real close to you.
I think history is important for snowboarding because we need to remember it's not really a sport. And it's only by looking back that you're like, no, that's not how, I don't know, not what drew me in, really. And that's that. And I think we forget that. We used to hear, oh, it's a sport, but sport is just that one corner of it.
Do you ever feel like that you're just using the word sport, though, because it's the easiest way to describe snowboarding? That's kind of how I feel. Like I'm like snowboarding, or I use the word sport because it's just easy.
It's shorthand, but the conversation about lifestyle and sport is as old as the sport.
Touché.
But the people at the beginning didn't get into it for a competition because there were no competitions. So, you're coming from a place where you're purely doing it because you love to do something. That feeling of that movement, that being outside. So that's not a sport thing, really, other than the fact that you use your muscles and you sweat.
Yeah, I agree. And I'd say, too, like with the history is why if we don't focus on that, then the culture gets broken, too. Like, then it becomes too much of a sport, even though like for me, snowboarding has been a sport, but I think that if you lose the essence of the culture, then it can kind of morph the whole snowboard world. Not in the right way.
I think the people that get dogged in competition are the ones who don't seem true to the lifestyle side, right? And there's a reason for that. It's because we give a shit, and we want to see ours elevated. We don't want to see outsiders elevated, which is, it's positive and negative. It's got a really negative connotation that we have this insular thing that we're like, cliquey as fuck. Cliquey as fuck is good. We should be. But we should also understand that there's like some outreach. Otherwise, we're going to die. People got to come in and spend some money so that we can still live these lifestyles. These extravagant lifestyles.
Ben, you got anything on that? Favorite guy on the panel. All right, let's shoot this one over to Dano. It's kind of a specific question directed towards you because first or second generation were you part of? Kind of the first.
I consider myself second.
Second?
Yeah.
Ken Ockenbach, who's here tonight, first generation for sure. Shout outs to Ken. So what values and traditions do you think that we should protect?
I mean, the shop culture, and it's a thing that's like, it's really, it's faded so much in the Amazon era, but going into a shop and looking up to the older guys and learning stuff and it's, there's a mentorship that happens that I think is really important. And I think we, with the loss of that it's made this way more splintered sport. Fuck, there I go again. This way more splintered lifestyle. See, it doesn't work. It's not the same, is it? Anyway, but like the cultural parts of just like that skate park feeling, and it's not the same when you're riding chairs and you're in the big park. You might run into people, but it's not the same as like sitting on the hub and talking. That you don't have that same interaction that you do in a skate park. It's very small. Everyone knows everybody there pretty quickly. That kind of thing it's hard. These events are really valuable for that. Even an event like this, it's just such a surface scratch. I'd like to see much smaller versions of this, 20 people getting together, talking things through, because, I'm super out of the loop of snowboard culture right now, other than my little tiny thread connection through Instagram, posting old snowboard photos and talking to you on airtime. We like it. That's it. That's my thing. And then I go up the mountain and I ride with the same 3 guys. And, except for this year, I'm shooting snowboarding again, so. Yeah. So there we go.
All right, Mike. What inspires you about those early chapters of snowboarding? As somebody who's pretty close friends with Mikey, I see him out there every day on the hill, and as many of us do, perfecting a lot of those small little crafts that I think started off with the early roots. So I'm curious to pick your brain on this, because I know that you are somebody that really loves a lot of the different layers of snowboarding.
Thank you, Jody. I appreciate that. Early inspirations, the first thing is style. Like, I feel like what is cool about snowboarding is that someone's style 30 years ago can carry to this day. And I love that about snowboarding. And you can draw influence from riders from the past and from riders from now. And I think that making sure that we highlight the characters that were formative in certain eras of snowboarding is important so that they don't get forgotten, but they also get, cherished. And then someone like myself can be like, okay, that's like, that method is like tweaked like this. And I'm like going on the hill and trying to like mimic that or take my own influence of like from that. And I think that's something that needs to be celebrated more. So I think we all like have our vision of the perfect tweak or the perfect poke, and I'm just chasing that all the time. And then I watch snowboard videos all the time to try to get more inspiration.
And don't we love arguing about like what's a better method?
Yeah.
There's so many people out here. Show of hands, who's between the bindings and who's on the nose? Between, let's go between. Between. Oh, I see a lot of legends with their hands up right now. On the nose, Nicholas Mueller style.
Yeah.
Boo.
Oh no.
I love all of you, but.
And that's funny because I've been on the same side of being
Hey, cool down. I knew this would raise. Take it easy, everybody.
But like the method for me is making sure your back knee is locked, like a Nico or a Terrier, and you got to lock out your knee. And sometimes it's hard to lock out your knee when you're between the bindings. At least that's my.
But if you hinge it, like you're up.
Yeah. But I want it,
At least touch your binding. Like. Anyway.
I want you to
Method?
elaborate on the method. Come on, let's go.
I think it can be cool both ways, but I prefer between the bindings.
All right, Ben.
Can we just say though, it's like the highest compliment you can pay someone is you got a good method.
Yeah, but from living here for 20 years, I hear a lot of people out there riding the parks. People are like, you got a nice method. I'm like, that guy does not have a good method. like, no way, dude. Like,
They need to spend more time in the shops and learn.
oh, totally. Who do you think? Okay, quick panel review. And let's go through everybody here because everyone knows, and it can be a skateboarder, snowboarder. Who do you think has the best method?
I posted it a little while ago. I did a little screen video. Jesse Martinez in Animal Chin in San Francisco. He like it's the prototype for every snowboard method. It's fucking awesome.
Which year would that have been?
Animal Chin.
86.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christopher Nix. He invented the rodeo. On to you, Mike.
Say that again? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, let's get a little round of applause in here for Martin Gallant. Love that, man. Absolute legend.
And downhill method, that's way harder. That is like the hardest way to do a method. In between the bindings, Buddy Brock Crouch, he's got a really good one. I like Danny's method. I like Terrier's method. Outside of the binding, Jamie Lynn, there's a lot, yeah. But I think it's cool to like have for me, it's like the in between and then the outside. Like you can have two.
What about Nicholas Mueller?
Yeah, Nicholas Mueller.
Good
for
chime
sure.
in there, Lucas.
Euro.
Ben, you got a fave?
Recently, I saw Zeb Powell do a very sick one in the POW that I think whoever was next to me when we watched it at the Chieftain, Tommy. Anyways,
I
surprisingly
know the one
good.
off the pillow. And
Yeah. Surprisingly good.
All right, Ben, this is a question directed towards you. Do you still feel like the video part, which is such a big part of our culture, should still be the gold standard?
It should be, I guess, but I feel like the standards have been getting wide, I guess. So it's kind of hard. It's like if everyone's recording their albums but don't care about how the songs are sounding, you can still record an album, but it might not be a good album. So I think, sure, but maybe we need a bit more of an authority saying this is, I don't know, a bit more pride, I guess. So, I don't know, controversial, I'm sorry.
I agree. I think
just feel like,
you need that.
There's too much professionals doing back threes, not grabbing them in their video parts, and I'm like,
I love that.
I don't get it. So sure, film video parts, but make sure I feel the same, you know? Does that make sense?
It does. Okay, so to close off this great panel here, we got one more question here.
Hey, wait.
Go back.
I just feel like video parts should be, you want to set a record of what you're capable of, what the standard, what snowboarding is today. Here's my contribution to it. So be selective, kind of. You know, it serves the whole snowboarding as, you know, the tighter you are, or like, be able to explain why every trick's in there. For what are you trying to give me with that, I guess. But I know it's creative, but I'm getting bored sometimes. So I'm sorry.
Dano, what do you think could disappear if we don't care and nurture our culture? Like, what's something that you'd be like, oh, that could evaporate, and that's important, or a pillar?
To be honest, I think it's already evaporated. It's like viable careers. You know, it's so tough to make it at this point. It's like it was in the late '80s. Very few people are making any money, and you know the dream of going out to the mountains is harder than ever. It's so expensive to do. It's ridiculous. A setup these days. Now you can always do that. You can always go and get a cheap board. You can always get up there. You can hike. There's ways. But the thriving culture of the '90s happened because everybody who was into it, and there wasn't this kind of periphery. It was like everybody was in and all in. We don't reach out to the 3-time-a-year snowboarders at all. They are not part of our culture, and we're not interested, and that's a mistake. You know, if we want to grow it, we have to give a shit about the people who are on the periphery and make them core. Teach them how. Bring them in.
Educate them, yeah. Get them in. Yeah.
Love that. I do love
all
that.
these core motherfuckers out there just being like, fuck those guys, man. They take up my lift.
Yeah, but they don't take the lines.
They do not take the lines.
Mike?
My thoughts.
They are the lines. You're not in line, you are the line.
Yeah, I liked what Dano said there. You can't lose the essence of professional snowboarding. I don't know. My whole life has been around snowboarding, thriving to be on it, and I would hate for that not to be an opportunity for a kid coming up from Ontario, wherever you grow up. And we got to make sure you're so right, is that the mass market, of those are the people that are actually buying the products. So you need to make sure they feel included. It's almost like if we can just show them how rad it is. They know it is because they're coming up to snowboard every weekend. But giving them a little bit more to grab onto. I just do it even when I'm on the hill. I have conversations with people and go, "Why did you buy that gear? Or did you buy it because of a video?" And sadly, most of the time, it's hard to find the people that know. And you talk to a lot of people, and I want that to be "Oh, no, I watch Travis Rice. That's why I'm buying the LibTech board," or that. Mm-hmm. That needs to happen more, I think.
And the only way you can do that is through good storytelling, really.
Exactly.
But I think it goes back to history, you know? It's like if we lost this, spreading the history about snowboarding and everything, especially with the youth and the young generation, we're gonna, lose everything. So I think I love you bringing the idea of the history, how important it is, because if we lose this through the generations, what we're gonna have left, just a story on Instagram, I feel that's super important to keep talking and connect and say, hey, what happened in the 80s and the 90s, so it's our duty, older snowboarder, to kind of keep spreading this, instead of complaining about the kids, they don't give a fuck. I'm sure they just don't know, so if we just spread the idea, I'm sure the history will say something important.
Yeah, I think there's too much of a divide in a way between the YouTubers, influencer type that aren't in the scene. Maybe if there was more of another hot take, but if they're included and we start saying their core and you make sure that we keep them in check and this and same for whoever, but here's the storyline of our culture, and to not have them create a separate reality of what snowboarding is, and if at least we all agreed on where we came from and where we intend on going, and try to make it no, they're not us, therefore we don't participate in what they do. As much as I want divides in other places, I think let's agree on what snowboarding is and what it could be if we all said, this is rad, this is counterculture, but you're in. you can be, and you don't need to be like chasing some other businesses over there.
You know, and there was an era in surfing when the hui regulated, and if you didn't do it the hui way, you were fucking out. And we can't take the hard role with the clowns who are influencers because they're winning. They're winning by reach. They understand the system better than we do, and so we have to teach them, not fucking beat them. You know, it has to be kindness at this point. It can't be regulate. You got to bring them in the fold, or fucking get rid of them. I hate all those fucking clowns.
I mean, the one thing that they don't have though is this. Like, what's in here is so real. Like everyone in here to some degree loves snowboarding or skiing or moto or skateboarding or surfing, and we love those things so much. And I do think it's to say where we came from wasn't important is mind-boggling to me. Like, and the older I get, it's kind of like a family tree. Like, you get to the end of the road, and I feel like the older you get, the more questions you have about like your family, you know what I mean? And like where you came from. And so I get when you're 18 years old or you're a teenager and you're not infatuated by, you know, who Jamie Lynn was or who Devun Walsh is or who Ken Ockenbach is or Dano or whatever, Nix. Like, you have all these like monumental people that are here tonight. Like, those people are super important. And it's nice when you get the itch to study those people. And so hopefully through conversations like this, people take the time to learn about those incredible individuals that have literally shaped this thing for not monetary value, but just because they loved sliding down some snow.
Thank every one of you for coming out and participating in culture tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right, on to
That was
panel.
awesome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're going to roll on the topic number 2, backcountry safety responsibly. Guys, thank you so much. I'm going to call Gabe Langlois, Sean Miskiman, and Dave Downing, please.
All right, to keep this going, just while they're walking up, Gabe Langlois is an absolute legendary filmmaker from Pemberton, filmed with the best of the best, Travis Rice, Jake Blauvelt, Mikey Rentz, the Burton crew as of late. Sean Miskiman is an up-and-comer who's not an up-and-comer anymore, but he is in my head, but is one of the future promising kids from Whistler. And then Dave Downing, who's an absolute legend, who's been working alongside Burton, and he's a legend. I mean, thank you so much for joining the panel last minute. This one is a little bit... This one's a little bit heavy. Just, I think all of us last year probably know somebody who passed away or has lost their lives to an avalanche, or how taking this is really serious, and there is a consequence to going out there, and you need to know that, you know? And I think that it's our responsibility to teach people about how serious the backcountry can be. Even just riding on Whistler Blackcomb here, like, having, you know, it's a deep day, wear a beacon or whatever, those things. Tree wells, our guide was talking to us, there's just as many people that pass away in tree wells as big avalanches. So, you know, I get it, going up peak is a blast, and that's what most of you will be doing, but it is serious, so take it serious. So, on that note, just a quick moment of silence for our boy Jeff Keenan. And everybody else. We miss you and we love you very much. So starting it off, let's take a deep breath here. Woo! All right. How should somebody approach getting into the backcountry, in your eyes, safely?
Safely. I mean, approach the backcountry. I mean, I think it's good to have an open mind, and definitely... you know, ask lots of questions. I think when I started, there wasn't really, I mean, transceivers were these super analog things, you know? It's like now we have these tools that like are very intuitive, pretty lucky. And there's a lot of people that are like down to lend a hand and educate. So I think, yeah, just opening your mind and not scared to ask questions, I think is like the biggest thing.
Well said.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Ask a lot of questions. Surround yourself with good people. I would say that's the number one thing. Take it slow. I think that's what I kind of learned when I was getting into it. It was take it really slow, you know, like I moved to Utah from California, and I moved to Utah, and I had no clue what I was doing, you know, so I just went really slow, like went 100 yards outside the gate, and I came back in, and then like the next day I just kept going farther and taking it really slow, you know, instead of just going out for some big thing, you know. So take small steps and then educate yourself. A lot of the education, though, I think you get like online or whatever, it's great, but actually doing it and living it with your friends is kind of the best education with people that are more experienced than you.
Yeah, I think these boys nailed it. Reach out to your local snowboarders who have more experience than you. They're all willing to lend a hand and kind of mentor you and help you get into it, as well as not only take an avalanche course, but take a first aid course. I think that's very, very important if you're going to be out there, because as much as avalanches are a problem, injuries do happen, and you need to learn how to be able to deal with those tricky situations while you're out there.
Well said.
I think it's good to say that. Have you heard about safety shred days?
I have.
You do, right? It's all about this, you know, like how to go to backcountry and knowing about the danger. And you know, this is Victor.
Shout out Victor.
Yeah, in fact, shout out Victor is like running this for like what 5-6 years maybe. So it's like mainly in Europe, France, and like I think in Switzerland or something. And I think he took it very seriously because it happened to him, right? He got like on an avalanche or something, and I think he should be like. There's something that happened in Nelson like 2 days ago or something. Like it was what's the event that was you guys were?
Risk maturity.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's like it should be like more in more different like spot around the world, right? Like more like journey like this, you know, like the safety trade days that will help because you have so many kids that just go on their own because they've never heard that is something to do before, maybe you know.
Totally. And I think through story and social media, the one thing that social media is good at is that they're like to somebody who's new at snowboarding, there are people posting things of like avalanches and stuff like that. And like, you're like, oh, they're real. You know what I mean? Like, and to know that they're real and they come with a risk is something that you need to know when you're going into the mountains. And even everybody showing up here before, you know, it's a shit season so far. It's going to turn on. It's going to be incredible. Best season of our whole lives, guaranteed. But, you know, you need to know once it starts turning on that you need to know, you know, some things about the mountain before you go. So moving on to a question quickly here for Gabe. You know, Gabe is an absolute legend. He's been filming for such a long time, and he has really filmed the best of the best for over 10, 15 years. You know, an absolute legend from Pemberton. And, you know, taking out some rookies sometimes, what are some initiatives and some things you like to see when you do take out a new kid where they're checking some boxes for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think, like, back to the being open-minded and asking questions and not scared to, like, you know, say something when you're feeling it. I mean, if somebody was going to show up at the parking lot and be the first person to pull out their transceiver and do a transceiver check, like right off the bat, like that would be give me something that would give me a lot of confidence in them. Yeah, I think it just comes down to like not being afraid to ask questions to do something, you know. Or if you have any concerns. I mean, it's like, oh, geez, it looked like it got really warm last night, and we're going into like high alpine zone with like a bottleneck drainage or whatever. Like, ask the question. You're feeling it, like kind of worried. Speak up. You know what I mean? It's really important to say the things and not just like let it linger in your gut, and then all of a sudden something happens and you're like, shit, I was feeling that. You know what I mean? It's like red flags in your head really are important to listen to.
Yeah, occasionally you get that like feeling, at least for me, like once a season I'm probably like in a valley somewhere and I'm like looking up at these peaks and you get like that sinking feeling that's like, oh, maybe this is something more. I think like listening to that intuition sometimes is a good idea. Dave, you've been in the mountains forever. Since I was a kid, the first videos I watched, you were in them, and you're still doing it, and such a pleasure to have you on the panel. But as a legend in the game, was there ever a specific moment that kind of shifted your perspective on mountain safety and taking it a little bit more serious?
That's a big question. I don't think there's a certain moment. I mean, one thing I'd like to say is there's a lot of things that can happen in the backcountry besides avalanches that are very, harmful to you or whatever. Like you can get hurt a lot. So it's not just avalanches. Yeah, we like, and especially filming. Like when we're out filming, like you're doing this thing that's pretty risky. You know, you're not just doing this fun line. You're kind of risking things to get this thing on film. And when people started getting hurt, that's when we started, like, main thing was like communication with the outside world, I would say. Like from being out in the backcountry and being able to communicate to somebody that's not in the backcountry, safety, obviously. Back then it was like sat phones, and there's all kinds of technology now where you can communicate. But communication not only from the outside, but also within your group. You know, we've had tons of instances where, you know, somebody in your group of 4 or 5 people didn't have a radio, and they're just gone, you know, and you don't know where they're at, and you're trying to look for them all day. So communication's a really big thing, I think, for anybody in the backcountry or doing anything like that. So I learned that early.
Very well said. Very well said. Yeah, radios is huge. Rasman actually at the risk maturity kind of spoke up and was talking to the guides, and you know, it's beacon, probe, shovel. We all know that for the most part. If you don't beacon, probe, shovel, it's the gold standard. But Rasman was like, but the radio should also be in that. Like, if you don't have comms,
Totally true, yeah.
like once it snows over 30, the snow is deep. We all have had to walk up 10, 20 feet for some sort of reason on peak, and you're like, this is impossible to get anywhere. So to have comms to quickly be able to check in if your friend's going to the washroom or whatever is massive. So just to add that to your pack this year if you're going out. So beacon, probe, shovel, radio. Miskimen, you just went, as well as I did, and Chris and some others in here, to the Risk Maturity put on by Baldface, Jeff Pinciero, Pat Moore, John Buffrey, a bunch of legends. Just kind of an open question for that. What kind of takeaways did you have from going to that course? And were there any big learns there?
Yeah, well, first out, shout out John, Pat, and Jeff. That course is so special, and it was an honor and a privilege to be there. There is a lot of takeaways from that course, but I think a main one to start off with is just know your gear. Learn how to use your beacon, practice with it. You want it to be second nature. You don't want to pull that out in a sticky scenario and be questioning yourself. You want to be confident, ready to go, because when shit does hit the fan, it's high pressure, high stakes. You want to know what you're doing and be confident and trust yourself with it. As well as just trust your crew when you're out there. I've been so lucky to have Chris and Jody mentor me throughout my career. And just trusting your crew and like being on the same, having the same language when you're out there, so you know what each other are saying, so you can move through the mountain safely. When someone says something, you understand what they're saying and you can trust them. It's so important.
Very well said. This is kind of one that's not brought up enough, but I'm curious to know your stance. We all do things, the funding we get is through brands, and I'm curious to know, should brands play a bigger role in backcountry education, and should they kind of take a responsibility if they're signing these new kids that they want to one day ride an AK, they want to ride in Whistler? I'm just curious to know if you think that brands should bear some responsibility before sending these kids out into the mountains, or if it's fully on the individual.
110%. I think it's the brand's responsibilities. I've been very lucky that the brands I've worked with have supported me through the process of sending me to courses like Risk Maturity year in and year out, but I think it's 100% on the brands. We're out there shooting for them, supporting them, helping them with their marketing. I think it's important that we have access to the right tools and the right learning tools to travel safely while doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I wish it was like that back when I was doing it. I totally agree with you. Because it is, you know, you're out doing stuff for these brands and having them invest in you and your safety. Just like a competition snowboarder gets physical therapy and all these other things, like you should be invested in also in your safety. So.
I mean, they're gonna hear it now. Like, I guess, like, it's kind of like a message, a bottle in the water, you know, like just saying that, you know, it's very important, I guess. And I love you saying like all the brands you work with, they're like aware of this and want to, you know, like give back and tell you everything you need to know before, you know, all the safety things. I think it's pretty important.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most special things is the fact that Arc'teryx, one of the companies I work with, we're right after this, I'm going to go to an avalanche course, another one with them. Last year, Monster Energy put on an avalanche course for their whole team. And like to see them taking that initiative is so special and so amazing. And I feel like that's new within the last couple of years back. Like Dave was saying, back in the days, that wasn't it. But it's really, really cool to see the community step up and take backcountry travel and backcountry safety at such a high priority.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I think that it's since the risk maturity course, it's been a bit of a snowball thing, and it's like such a positive thing that's happened. Is like everybody's kind of got on board and really kind of like taking it into their own hands. Like the last bunch of years, we've actually sanctioned our own in the backcountry. Me and Mikey Rents and Mark Sollors and our crew, and just with like a local guide, and did 3 days of like being out there on snowmobiles, tailored it completely towards our situation. You know what I mean? And I think it's like just should be second nature to be able to use your equipment, but also second nature at the beginning of the season to just be like, oh, it's time to do our thing. Let's do our course, or like at least get together at the very least, and as a group that we're going to be working with, and learn the language and learn the communication amongst the group and stuff like that.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah, so before the season kicks off, you know, make sure all your stuff's in working order, just because we're on the topic of backcountry safety. So throw your probe out. Sometimes those things can get rusted. Make sure your shovel is good. Once that thing's dented, it's pretty much toast. Take your batteries out of your beacon is a good one, because once those batteries in there over summer and you see all that corrosion, it's pretty much toast. That thing's your lifeline. So after 4 to 5 years, invest in a new one, you know, and get the practice in, get your reps in.
No, before you go, something that comes to mind is just actually when I first met Sean, we did the risk maturity course, and then like 2 weeks later, him and Mikey Cicarelli had like a real world instance and ended up like saving this dude's life. So you never know when it's going to happen it's within your group or the group right next to you. You know what I mean? So I think it's just like really important to know that stuff and just know your gear and do the steps.
Sean, you want to quickly maybe kind of speak on that in Cliff Notes?
So a couple years ago, actually right after, I think it was one of my first risk maturity courses, me and Mikey Cicarelli were involved in an incident where we had watched another crew. One of the members got fully buried 2.5 meters down, and we were able to perform a rescue. And that moment taught me so much about backcountry safety and everything. Now every year I do a refresher course or the risk maturity course. Without a doubt, it's the first thing I do every winter, just to brush up on the skills. And just like going back to just knowing your gear, it's like in those moments they're so high pressure, and it's overwhelming in a sense. And it's just like taking that extra breath before you step into the scenario, and knowing your gear, knowing how it works, and trusting the process, and just following the steps and trusting the people you're with. It's like so important. I mean, I could get into it pretty deep, but I don't know if I really am ready to get that into it. But yeah.
For sure. Good job there, dog. Nice one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Moving forward.
Moving forward.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. We're going to move on to topic number 3, talking about industry direction. Where are we going? I want to ask Mark Sollors, Devun Walsh, and Darrah Reid to join here to talk about it.
Yeah, you and the brown back there. Take it easy, buddy. Your story can wait till tomorrow. All right, so the panel we have here is Devun Walsh, one of the greatest snowboarders of all time. Shout outs to Dev. We got Darrah Reid, a close friend of mine from Winnipeg. quite the inspiration to see her go through her career. She's basically on her second career. Backcountry, uninvited, everything. I'm just so proud of her. She went to NST, and yeah, I am really proud of my friend from Winnipeg for actually just absolutely killing it. And then Mark Sollors, who's been on Burton for 400 years and 20 years on Monster, and still one of my favorite video parts of all time in color, which we'll talk about till the end of time. Industry direction, which is, this is kind of a good panel to talk about that. They've all been in the game for a long time. They've all seen it change over the years, especially Devun. Maybe we'll start with Devun. What's your advice do you have for the overall industry to guide snowboarding in a general right direction, and whatever a right direction to you means?
Can everyone hear me? I'm good. I guess for me, I thought I was talking on history, and now I'm in industry. But I think the two of them are very connected. And for me, I think that the industry needs to be led by the history a little bit, and right, and it's like we need to look kind of like, you know, within the history of it. And I don't know, I'm going sideways, but
no, that was the best thing ever. I think everybody here agrees.
In short form.
No, I think I agree 100%. I think the hardest kind of question to look at with this is, I mean, it varies by region. It varies by generation. You know, somebody that's 20 years old is going to have a different experience with snowboarding than somebody that's 40, that started in the 90s. And I think it all ties back to what the snowboarding history is, how we can continue learning from it, growing from it, like that wealth knowledge that Dano was talking about, and making sure that the decisions that brands and riders and people make is being informed by our history, what is happening right now, how can we share that information, and then moving forward.
Well said.
Mark told me that he was going to carry us. Thanks, Mark.
Our topic might have been different 2 hours ago, and
we had
different
shift.
preparations.
Yeah, my intern Darrah, who also works for Airtime, has to go do some stuff at the whiskey premiere, so we shuffled her to the earlier show, which shuffled some things around. So we thank the panel for shuffling around here.
I was not aware of any of this shuffling.
Yeah, well, just because it would stress you out. So, Darrah, do you have any advice for the industry, guiding it in a general good direction?
I think what you both said was very important to, just remember where we came from. Snowboarding started as like a pretty punk rock counterculture, and I just hope that we continue to remember that and move in a direction that supports that. And
do you think, this is for all of you, do you feel that social media metrics are guiding snowboarding in a right or wrong direction, or at least a unique direction? Because they hold so much weight, I feel like, these days. Is that a good thing, a bad thing?
I just don't think it's a very meaningful thing. A lot of that weight can just be bought with money. You know what I mean? Like, those metrics aren't real. They're not super tangible.
Yeah, and honestly, I think everyone's bullshit radar's pretty in tune right now. So when you're looking at social media, you can kind of, especially with the rise of AI, you can kind of see what's authentic and what isn't out there. So as far as like the metrics go, I don't really think so, because I mean, we look at Louis, who won, I think, Rider of the Year 2 years in a row or something like that, and he had like 8,000 followers on Instagram. So it's like, yes, there's a certain degree of weight, but I personally don't categorize it, because I think it's like the people in this room, the peers of snowboarding, that really make the decision. I think everyone can kind of see through what is authentic and what isn't nowadays.
One thing I've noticed is social media has kind of been the downfall of our community, because we used to gather for movie premieres, and that was like a huge thing, like kind of waiting for the footage to come out. Now it's just thrown to you throughout the winter, and like, you know what I mean? It was kind of nice to gather and wait. Like there's nothing more special to me growing up was waiting for September for the movies to come out and see, you know, and like gather with my friends and get hyped for the season, go buy new product, and you know, and that social media is kind of our magazines are gone. Like magazine was so rad to, you know, there's a few, but it's been sad to kind of see. And I know it doesn't touch on metrics, but I just hate social media that way. I said it, sorry.
You know what's a big thing is anticipation gets removed with social media. You know what I mean? Like when you have everything in life right now, and this is kind of just like me speaking to everybody, it's becoming a world where it's instant gratification with whatever you want, whether it's food or your favorite show, or you don't even need to watch your favorite snowboard movie anymore because the highlights get ripped off within a week and you see every best clip, and then you watch the movie and you're like, I've already seen the movie. Like,
yes, but I think there's still, like Rusty Ockenham had a great quote where he said there's a difference between content and art. You know, it's like, yeah, you can get all that footage just like delivered to your social media and you can watch it and you're like, that was a really fucking sick shot. But like going to watch a movie or the short film or whatever, it's like that's what's going to bring you in. That's going to talk about that film director's experience, that rider's experience. There's going to be more to that one trick than the trick, you know, like what went into it. You know, there's still avenues there. It's just diluted. It feels like almost.
Yeah, digesting video content through vertical or like a scrolling mechanism is an unfulfilling way to digest life. It's I don't find it. I mean, as someone who does so much art, you must. Can you speak to this a little bit? Because
Yeah, of course. I feel like I grew up same era with Devun, you know, and I know what you're talking about like the wait, you know, in September, October to see all those VHS movie, because I know VHS, you know, it was a thing to me, and I was just like waiting for those videos, like the Mac Dog, for example, and we were like driven about the music and everything, and I feel like it's not about social media, it's about like the amount of content that we have every day, you know, and it's like it's just too much. Like have you seen all the snowboard movie this year? Like it's pretty much your job, but I feel like it's just too much content, you know, like I'm more skateboarder than snowboarder, you know, and it's like I don't go on Thrasher every day. It's just because it's just too much. And I love Gen Chem for the fact that you guys know Gen Chem. They do like content not every day, so it's like every 3 days, and I love that because I don't miss anything. I go on Gen Chem once a week, and I can, you know, follow up with everything. So I think like just like the amount of content, and it's like brands are pushing riders to do more, and it's like a mix of everything. It's like we are overwhelmed by everything. So I think it's just like we're feeding the machine. We have no other options, but I feel like it's way too much. And as an artist, and I have to feed the machine, I feel very overwhelmed. So I'm down to slow down. If everybody wants to slow down a little bit, I'm down.
Yeah, we all do. We're all down to slow down, for sure. This kind of touches on that. Mark, in your opinion, what's the difference between an influencer, a content creator, and a professional? As someone I think that you've done so much in your career. You've been a professional. How old are you turning in April?
40.
Hell yeah, brother. But like since I was a kid, before I even moved to Whistler, I knew who Mark Sollors was, and I was such a fan. And I think he's done it so gracefully, where he's pivoted into this YouTube. I think he's one of the first people that I know of that has gone on to do YouTube, do it successfully, but have a 20-year career to justify him talking about product. And it's so, to me, I'm excited for that pivot for more people to get on YouTube and become the people that are speaking about our culture and brand and product through the eyes of somebody and that's lived that whole thing, you know? Like I want to hear about Mark talk about the Burton Custom, not like this random, like I could go off, but anyways. You're like, bro,
sorry,
you can't even turn.
Can we go back to it? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, okay, I'll
side quest.
I'll touch on a couple things there, I guess. I guess ultimately it's like, yes, I have had a long career. I consider myself a professional snowboarder based on my achievements, my time with the snowboard community, peers. I got to film with Devun Walsh. He's the ultimate professional, so I think I'm kind of there as well. And I know that, you know, like as I get older, I'm not riding like some of the kids, like the schmob kids that are in here. You know, those kids are like pushing snowboarding and like what's happening at the Olympics. Like that's not my snowboarding anymore. So am I a professional snowboarder? Yes, but my value giving back is now changing as I've gotten older. I'm riding different. I have this, you know, what I would call some like great experience and the ability to talk about this product and like how I can continue giving that back with the voice and experience that I have to the general public, while still hopefully holding on to this. Yes, I'm a professional first, and the gear is also something that I think is adding value to, you know, everyone out there in snowboarding. The question about influencers is a very foggy one, I would say. Mainly because I actually really liked what Dano said. You know, it's like those people like maybe they're not core, but they love snowboarding. They fucking love snowboarding. Like their life is snowboarding for a lot of those people that are just considered influencers.
Well said.
And so the only difference is maybe their skill level isn't the same, but they fucking love riding. So maybe that's the space instead of, you know, pushing them out, being like, you know, it's for pro boarders and core and this. It's like that's where that education comes from. It's like maybe this is where we need to bring them in and help show that history. I mean, fuck, they probably even know the history of snowboarding, but it's just like there's that separation right there. So I don't know. It's not a simple answer anymore of like the differences, but I think there's a path forward without trying to create this divide between a core professional snowboarder and an influencer.
Do you think it's a professional snowboarder's job these days to be a content creator and an influencer as well as being skilled at their craft?
Take it from here.
I'm the intern.
Is she getting paid by airtime yet, Jody? Come on.
That was a great question.
Yes. Simple answer, yes. I think professional snowboarding has to wear a lot of different hats right now, and I think it is our responsibility to do our best at snowboarding, but also sharing everything else.
I mean, I think if we took that away from the influencers, then maybe that would they wouldn't have it anymore. It would be ours, perhaps.
It's
but
true,
it would make more work for the.
But then I also like, and again, this is like a very blanket kind of space, but we don't want to push someone out of snowboarding. I feel like, you know, and it's like if
they
they're
can still
sharing the
snowboard
love
but
of
not make money
snowboarding-
off of it. If
but
they
again,
don't
but
have
that
the
also
skill.
that also like this is like there's so many questions that we're going to break down here because there's like that great topic about the pie, the marketing budget pie, and like back in the day it was magazines, movies, professional snowboarder. That's all the marketing that needed to be spent, more or less. That's obviously just like a very painted thing. But looking nowadays, it's like we have digital ad spends, we have point of sales advertising, we have marketing campaigns that they need to go shoot. We have professional snowboarders. We have like that pie used to be 3 pieces, and now it's 20. Blankly say. So I think like, is influencer, are they taking money from core professional athletes? I think yes, but I don't think it's as much as we maybe think.
I just would love to see more of that pie going to the professional athletes.
I think part of the problem with the pie is all these companies have cut down on what they're actually giving back to the snowboarders into the marketing, and now they're paying an influencer and a pro, but the pro isn't like they're not getting danger pay anymore, and it's to me like that was like a key asset. I was telling Brad on the drive up here. I remember doing this drive, and I'd be like literally scared shitless because we're gonna go hit some big gap, and I was like, that's why I'm making the dollars. Like, I gotta go risk my neck.
Yeah,
you know, and that isn't happening nowadays because some content creator is taking a piece of that pie.
Yeah.
But I love what you said. Is they love snowboarding too, so I actually see it a bit that way. It's like, so should we be taken away from them? I don't know.
But I completely agree there that danger pay, and Dano touched on this too, where it's like a snowboarding career is like, I would say like it's barely a viable career anymore. You know, like the money is not what it used to be in any way, especially when you factor in like the danger pay of being afraid to go out there and do some of the tricks that we're going to go do. I 100% agree with that. But again, I think that's like targeting the like influencer as like it's your fault that professional snowboarders aren't getting paid as much. And I don't think that's fair. And again, I don't want to come off as like I'm supporting like fucking influencers, you know? It's like, but
I mean, I think it's
just
more
like,
on the brands.
Exactly. It's more on the brands. And
so.
I just don't want to create a divide in snowboarding that isn't a positive, beneficial thing for snowboarding. Like, I think we can kind of move forward and like help people.
Well, I think we need to guide people on what they should be sort of buying into, right? Like, it's like people are buying the low-hanging fruit because, oh, an influencer's right there. Oh, wow. It's like, well, no, I want to see exceptional snowboard. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
But don't you think that the word influencer is kind of like, you know, like what word should we use? Like, I love like inspiring. Like sometimes I get like emails from brands and they're like, as an influencer, I'm like, hell no. I don't like to, people say I'm an influencer, say I'm an artist, say I have a certain lifestyle, but like I love to say like you inspire me. Like influencer is like, I don't know what you think. Like this word
It's the perfect word for them because they're not actually influencing anybody. They're just vaguely making some people kind of happy. They're definitely not inspiring to a degree of like, you know, Devun's career, if you're older, was inspiring to put that into words is insane because you knew how much work and dedication went into their craft. And when you see somebody take that same outerwear and stand somewhere and get a good photo taken and have like their butt is nice and then they get a bunch of likes and more money goes to them, it's like it's way more inspiring when somebody puts 20 years of dedication into their craft and actually inspires people to pick up a snowboard, to try and float off a cliff and do something, or to do some crazy art. So I want to keep them involved, but I want the budget to be as the smallest piece of that pie should be going to those individuals. Free product is fine, but money, especially on the female side, is a tough one because as a male, you know, that it doesn't hit as hard when, you know, if the female budget's already small, it's even smaller because they're going to give 60-70% of that to influencers, probably to some degree.
I think a lot of it lands on the brands having the responsibility to, I don't know, what's the word? Give out that pie in the right numbers.
Delegate.
Thank you.
Delegate.
And then also, I guess, yeah, educating the consumer is really important and guiding them to make good choices.
In
And
short,
that's on us.
I feel that it's very lazy to look at somebody's Instagram following and tie their worth to that. If you get to know some of these individuals in here tonight that are some of the most inspiring individuals I know have a very small influence, but their influence is important. And I remember reading a book a long time ago, and it spoke to how all you need is like 2,000 or 3,000 really core fans, and like that's enough to have a business forever. And like there's some people in here that have 5,000 followers, and 2,500 of them fuck with what they're doing. Like they love what they're doing. You know, some people have 100,000 followers, and I don't even know if they have 100 people that really care. They just ended up on there because they were doing a giveaway, and they were like, shit, I just follow this guy because I wanted to maybe win a Lambo.
I love what you're saying. I think it's very important because it gives hope to people. You know, let's say you start Instagram and you're like, wow, I need 100K so people like get like interested by me. I think you're saying like with 5K, and if you have like this community, it's like healthy, you can make things happen. And I love you saying that because it's not about the numbers. It's like, what do you do and with your community? And that's all you said. It's relevant as fuck.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And we've had this conversation, Jody, before about there not being a gauge of the quality of the like. You know, if something has 10,000 likes, and it's like, well, what's the quality of that like? You know, the person that's clicking that like button, it's like, is that somebody involved in the community? Is that somebody that's out there snowboarding? Is that somebody that just got ad targeted and they don't even snowboard and they just give it a like anyways?
Oh, dude, think about it. Like if I like your photo, Mark, or if Devun likes your photo. It's different. All right, I think we gotta switch gears here. Thank you so much to this panel,
so much,
though. We love you guys.
Thank you.
Christopher Nix, everybody, invented the backside rodeos here tonight. No big deal.
Very important topic is shops, the heartbeat of the community. And we have here a very important person named John Martin. John is in Bath. Okay, so Chris Rasman, please come over. And the one and only Caleb Chomlack.
See, impact. It's the quality of the cheer, too, you know? Those ones are real.
Speaking
They
of
were
community,
deep.
this is so sick. I feel like I genuinely know like more than 70% of the people in here, and this is really fucking cool. So Lucas and Jody, thanks for putting this together. This is awesome. Make some
They're good
noise
people.
for these guys for putting in the effort for the community.
No, it's you guys, honestly. I don't do nothing. I just like coordinate things. My man. John.
All right, so we got John Martin, who works at the Circle, and everybody in this town knows who John Martin is. No questions asked. We got Chris Rasman, backcountry legend, and he's one of the best. Caleb Chomlack, artist, schmob, and incredible human. Thank you all for joining us. This one's going to be we're talking about shops, you know. They are, to me, an important part of this whole culture, but that's not for me to pick. So, shops. We're going to start off with this. It's a vague, open-ended question. John, snowboard shops. Why are snowboard shops important?
Are we talking like independent shops or just shops in general?
Shops in general. A place that somebody can go and meet other people who snowboard and buy stuff. And
Shops are 100% important. Like, we need a place to go hang. And, like, I mean, Dano said amazing things that I was like, how am I going to say better things than what he said? But, like, a place where people can go and hang and get educated and, like, learn the culture. And, like, I mean, whether it's old movies, new movies, like, for me, like, I'm always watching snowboarding, so it's like I get excited when someone comes in. I'm like, yo, have you seen Atlas 2? And they're like, what? I'm like, oh my God, you got to see it. Like, Tommy Gesme, like, I can't believe you haven't seen, even though it's been over like 10 minutes. And I'm like, what do you mean you haven't seen that? Like, and like, or like, I mean, anyone who knows me and comes in and they're like, oh my God, like they know they're going to be in the shop for like an hour because I got so much to like
Hell yeah.
to show them. I mean,
John is the type of guy that will
literally,
educate
if
that
Bryn's girlfriend's
snowboarder.
here, she knows. She like doesn't let him go in because she's like, you're gonna be there forever. And I mean, it's because I get excited. Like, I love snowboarding and skating, so it's like, I'm just like, I want to share it. Like, when I see something, I'm like, I want to share it with someone to be like, hopefully you like this as much as I do. And if you don't, I'm like, what do you mean you don't like it like I do? Like, that's ridiculous. Like,
Well, that's why I think the reason everyone who knows you in this town loves you so much and thinks that you're so perfect for that role that you have at the Circle is because you are so passionate about snowboarding that snowboarder that comes in that maybe only does 3 days a year, you are the guy that is going to connect them to core. And you were going to inspire them and articulate it in the correct way. So maybe when they're choosing a product, they actually know what that brand is about, what riders it connects to, what the product is about. And that's
thank you.
the
Thank you.
sickest.
That means a lot.
I mean, let's be. John, the shops are the foundation. Let's be honest. Without you guys, you know, like the culture would be gone. So I always say, like, just like go support your local. It's a gimmick we hear every day, but I keep saying it. You know, it's like go support your local shop because without them, like, how are we gonna just like try the product at just this, you know? It's like, are you gonna just order things online and think that you're gonna make the right choice? No, go to the Circle and get what you need.
Yeah, like you don't get a vibe like shopping online. Like that's the thing I think, and especially like, I mean, what if it doesn't fit? Like, who's got time to be returning things all the time? Like, I know people that like buy things on Amazon all the time. I'm like, dude, you're always returning things. Like, you could just go in and try it and be like, oh yeah, it fits. I'll just buy it right now. Like. And I'm impatient. I'm like checking if I order anything online, I'm like checking the tracking like 4 times a day, being like annoyed that it hasn't moved. Like,
it's true. Even just going in to get an honest opinion from someone you look up to or know that I might run into Chris or Mark Sollors or even Jody at the shop. Like, when I was a younger kid, that was so scary, but also so important. You know?
Yeah. Big time. Like, I grew up in Vancouver, and I used to go and sit on the benches at the boardroom and Pacific Border and just watch the new movies because I could convince my parents to buy me 1 new movie a year. I couldn't convince them to buy me 5. So I was like, fuck, am I doing Absinthe or Mac Dog this year? But I still want to see the rest. And so I go and sit there, watch the movies, bug the guys for stickers, and just kind of soak up that vibe and that energy and that snowboard culture. And when you're a kid, it's really important to feel like a part of something and to feel welcomed, and good shop staff can do that, and that's fucking important.
Oh yeah.
Very well said. John, what's one piece of advice you would give to brands and consumers even on why it's important to go to a shop and what brands should be doing to support shops and why people should be going into shops?
I think it just comes down to always educating them, and if the brands are looking after the shops, then the shops are going to be more stoked in the brands, which means we're going to tell people about that brand. And it's being able to connect with a brand, I think is huge. I tell everyone is listen, every brand makes the same stuff, but the vibe that brand puts out there is what is important to be you don't need to mess with every single brand, but maybe you go, oh my God, this is 686. There's something about it that you're I fuck with that brand. And it's that to me is the most important, is always, educating people on that and just creating a vibe for your brand in general.
Well said. And I also don't like that it's so on just to go back to do a hybrid on the last conversation and drag it into this one, it does suck that riders have slowly bared the responsibility to articulate what the brand looks and feels like. And I think that should be something that remains on the brand. And the riders can authentically post as they please, but the brand should be the one that's creating the brand image.
100%. There's countless brands that are my favorite, and it just comes down to one thing where it's Howl, for an example. I remember being oh, I only wear this brand, and then someone's oh, there's this new brand, Howl, and I was whatever, and then they're it's Darrah Mathis Company. I was take my money. It was that. It was just and it's been around for 14 years. I've never worn another glove since, and as far as I'm concerned, it's nothing else like this. Or another one local, like Nick Heringa, he's here. And Salmon Arms, it's local. It's that should stand for something. The fact that Nick is here, showing face, that is so important to be able to connect. Oh, that's the guy. That's this product. To me, I don't know. That's the most important thing. Those little things, or even who owns the shop. For here, Steve, he'll be at the barbecue, or at the skate park barbecuing hot dogs, or Murray on skate day. Every year you go to Vancouver for skate day, Murray is there grilling hot dogs, and I'm that's the guy. He owns the shop that you support. That to me is seriously the most important.
I have a question for you, John. When you work with brands, do you want them to support by any means, or do you you know what I mean? Sometimes you want to work with this brand because it's the hot brand and you're going to sell it a lot, but do you want them to be involved in a way where just just show up with the team and stuff? How do you talk to the brands you work with?
It's nice if the brands do take the time to come see us. That is really cool. But I get it. People are busy, or they're not even here and they can't do it. But just little things with some brands will give promo where they're hey, if any of your staff need a kit this year, we got you. And then it's cool because then you have a kid who's in the shop who already loves the brand. The brand now gave him an outfit. Now he's even more stoked, so he's going to push that brand all season.
Yeah, well said. Truth and Beyond Metals or whatever.
Exactly, and it starts, it can start small, oh, you got a kit, and you can start flow or whatever, and then they're oh, this guy rips, and then it just that was how they got in the door.
Over to you, Caleb. Caleb was kind of born and raised here, local. What role did the circle play in your life and, in the building of Schmob and just your own identity even?
Yeah. Shout out to the shop and everyone a part of it. It's always been insane to just go in with all our homies and look through the sticker drawer or whatever is going on, see what they're playing on the TV. John's always got a conversation to talk about, so that always means a lot. But also just I don't know, for all of us, I think growing up around here and looking for something to be inspired by or something to look up to, it's definitely good to have all those opinions at the shop, talking to people that you can trust, and like as a mentor as well as someone you see on the hill or around town, like that definitely means a lot. So I think it helped all of us kind of understand what's sick and what's not as sick, I guess.
Totally. And then through going, I feel like you form your own opinion, and eventually you're the kid at the shop that's telling the kid that used to mentor you that you're like, you're fucking wrong. That brand sucks. And then you fight over, and that's sweet because your opinion becomes valid.
Yeah, and even like we don't agree on everything, but
I think most things I would say, but we do have good conversation.
Lately, it's been a little hit or miss.
Damn, that was
There's
dope.
too many 50-50s in videos. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, John's opinion when it comes to like riding like Joe Lax terrain or Rasman terrain just holds a little less weight.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's true. He doesn't hike up there with Joe. Either do I. Raz, how has the boardroom supported your career as somebody who kind of has heard you talk about what that shop has done for you? I just kind of want to hear you talk on like, you know, had a crazy career. At some points, I feel like even brands kind of lacked some support, and it seemed like that shop has done some pretty cool things for you.
Yeah, totally. I mean, well, first off, what I'll say, like how I look at a shop's importance at this stage in my career is they are the seam that connects core to consumer. And those employees are the seam that connects that and like establishes that, educates them. And so for me, if I have a bunch of product with my name on it that is going to help me if it sells because I'm going to make money off it, Boardroom is going to help push that product or is going to help push the brands that I ride for, and they get me down there and I meet the staff, hang out with them, establish all these connections. And then beyond that, like Boardroom established my connection to backcountry motorsports, which is another non-conflicting shop I ride for. That's a snowmobile shop. My entire snowboard career is driven by snowmobile access, backcountry riding, and because of Boardroom, I now have a great relationship with the snowmobile shop and sponsored by them too.
Can you speak to a shop like the Holy Grail, or at least if you love the history on the first chapter that we talked about, the Holy Grail for a snowboarder is to get a pro model. And Chris, you've had how many now? How many pro models? 6, 7?
I think I just got my next year's one. I think it's my 8th.
Nice
8th
job.
board.
Yeah. Congratulations. And well deserved. But like Amazon isn't going to be able to articulate why they should push that pro model, you know? And like having a pro model in a shop, you know, maybe can you speak to that? And even I would love all your opinion on that. But like a pro model in a shop gets pushed differently than anywhere else.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if there's some like local love or hometown love, or not even like maybe like you mentioned Victor Davier, big fan by the way. The guy's a fucking legend. Maybe he has a pair of goggles with his name on it, and he stopped at a shop in Canada and met the staff and established a connection with him. And now they're like, this guy's rad. We want to push this goggle. Like I ride for the Boardroom, but Mark and Sollors and I were just in Kelowna for the premiere of The Realm, and we stopped at One Board Shop, and they kind of helped. Yeah, shout out to One Board Shop in Kelowna. That place is dope. They just did a post the other day that like all the pro models they ordered of mine are sold out now, and I can't help but feel like part of that is because I established a connection with that shop. I met all the rad people that work there, and then they're helping me out by pushing that when consumers come in and telling a story about me that they can identify with.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, I worked at the Circle for a year or two, which was pretty fun. And at the same time, Darrah's board, she went pro for dynos. And I think that's the only board I recommended to any girl.
Yeah, Darrah.
So I think when you have a sort of like meaning behind a brand that you back, and you're the one in the hot seat, you know, telling people what they should buy or not buy, because, you know, people trust you at a shop. I mean, we're not making commission or anything. So it's like, I don't know, if I like Capita, they're cool, but I'm not going to tell a girl to buy a Capita board when there's Darrah's pro model right beside it. So, you know what we do.
I agree. Like having, like we always get Chris's board. It's like, he's our friend. Like, yeah, he doesn't ride for us, but he's like, he's our friend, he's local, he comes in and hangs. Darrah's board too. Like that is like super important. And then also just like having staff that know who these people are. Like it's so much different. Like when someone's in the store and you're like telling them a board and you're like, oh, this is Chris Rasman's board. He lives here. Like that board is designed pretty much for the terrain that you're gonna get it for. Like the customers can like connect to that, being like, oh no way, like that's cool. And like if you see them, they're like, oh my God, like that's the guy. Like that's the guy that the shop guy told me about. Like I have his board and like he's right there. And it's also pretty cool that like we do live in Whistler where like you do get to see a lot of your favorite snowboarders just like doing their thing. Like that's super cool. And I'm like lucky that like they come in and hang. Like it's pretty cool to see some of the people that are just like hanging on like the bench and we're just like all watching a movie. Like I'm like doing the same thing to them. Like, have you guys seen this? And like, it's like nuts. So you just see the line. You're like, this is pretty cool.
And like beyond signature gear or pro model product, like for a professional snowboarder's job to exist, product needs to sell. That job doesn't exist if there's not money coming into the industry. And direct to consumer is great because a brand can make a little bit more money on them on that product. But the shop, again, just kind of educates the masses about snowboarding and makes them fall in love with snowboarding on a deeper level. And that brings in money to this fucking industry that we all need and love so much, you know?
Totally. And without that like support and stuff, this whole group doesn't get together.
Yeah,
I said
straight
group.
up. We're in a shop right now.
I feel like working like local is very important. Like as you say, like I think like in my era, like back in the 90s, my heroes were the skateboarders in town, you know. So it wasn't like Tom Penny or Chad Muska. I loved them, but my hero was just like the killers from my hometown, you know. And we were buying the sweatshirt from them back in the days, you know. And I think like with the circle, you have to work with the local brands. Because you know what pissed me off is like when I travel the world and I go to the skate shop and I see the same product that you see in Sydney, in New York, and I think like it's pretty awesome when you have just like this shop, like let's say Labor from New York, they have a lot of brands from New York. And that's how it should be nowadays. It's like every shop has certain brands that is just local, you know, rather than just like, oh yeah, I've seen this board in Germany and in the US. I think like it should be like this, and this is how you collect brands in the circle. Like, do you try to get more brands around from BC, or you just go with?
To add to that, before you answer Lucas's question, even within a large brand, like let's say every snowboard shop carries Burton, the shop reflects their own style a little bit by what they choose to order, which I think is really cool. So that shop is ordering specific products within that brand's catalog, which kind of gives their vibe a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll say like within reason, like there are some things like we'd love to support that, but it's like especially at the Circle, we're a small store, but it's about just like being like it all comes down like the people that work there are going to define what the store is. Like if you work at a skate shop, but you like it's like you skate and snowboard, but you're like not a skate and snowboarder. It's like how are you going to be tapped in on like what's the cool stuff to get if you like I sometimes feel guilty about how little I know about like current events. Like it's like I literally get home, I'm just like, okay, I gotta watch Airtime, I gotta watch the bomb hole. Like, oh, this part came out. Like it's like I literally like almost. It's like kind of crazy, and it's the same thing when I wake up in the morning. Like I'm like, hey, oh my god, this came out, this came out. Like I gotta. It's like kind of crazy how much I watch of just that stuff. But sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. I just get going and I get excited. But like, yeah, it's like. You want to know, like, I mean, like an example, like this hat I'm wearing, like it's like a tiny brand called Low Res. And it was like, what is Low Res? They're like, oh, Ika Backstrom started a hat company, like say less. And you're just like, that's sick. And it's like, cause we know Ika, like not only he was like, as a kid, he was like happy hour, like you're like, Ika's the man. And then he was always around for like all the movies I loved. But now he's like doing his thing and he just like out of nowhere started a brand. You're like, sweet, say less. Like that, like, being tapped in, like someone was in the shop the other day and they're like, oh, what is this brand? And I'm like, it's this person and it's this guy, but it's like not many places have that brand. Like it's super small.
Yeah, and I talked to a lot of shop owners in the skate industry, and I think they're turning like this. Like they really want to be like a shop where it's only brands local. So it's very specific when you go to like, let's say Nosebone in Paris. It's a very legit skate shop, and it's like they're turning like this. Just you go to Nosebone, and you have like product that is just like brands from even not just Paris, but in the neighborhood, you know. And I think like it would be awesome to, I don't know, that's how I see the trend, you know, in the future, maybe in 10 years, it's like each shop works with locals, you know, and it's a different world. It's not like global things with like burden everywhere, but more like specifically to each area, you know. It's like maybe it's going to be tinier market, but more healthier, I guess.
Yeah, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't fact check the accuracy of this, but I saw the Easy Rider post this thing on Instagram the other day that was like, hey, when you're out buying Christmas presents this season, if every person that snowboards in North America bought a $50 gift from their local snowboard shop, that would inject $60 million back into the snowboard industry this holiday season. So go buy something at a snowboard shop.
Oh, yeah. Shop local. That's all it needs to be said.
Yeah, I mean, shop local for sure. But I think just like in general, like just maybe look into like if you're buying a brand or whatever you're buying it from, like why not like care a little bit and just like learn something about that place or that brand. You'd be like, it's like a classic thing, but like we get to vote with our dollars, so like we get to decide like who makes it and who doesn't. So like it's weird that people like they're the areas that they don't care about that, but then certain they do. And I'm just like, dude, supporting local owned is like so important. And it's like I'm always saying it, but it's like I mean the reality is like people don't care as much as we do. But like if you can just get one person at a time to like share the passion, like that means a lot. And then they tell their friends, and like it's cool when like I do my thing at the shop, and then like one person comes back and they bring 5 people and they're like, yo, I told my friends. I'm like, that's cool. Like that's such a good feeling to be like, oh, I'm kind of just like ranting all the time in the shop, but like sometimes people listen, and like that's cool. Like,
we appreciate you, John.
Thank you.
Yeah,
fucking
John.
man.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you.
We're gonna have the last panel, very important one about the next generation, empowering the future. Thank you guys so much. I would like to invite Marie-France Roy, Jess, Kimura, and Nick, the one and only Nick Heringa.
All right, so the next and final topic we have is on the future, the generation that's to come. And so a little bit of context. So we got Nick Heringa here, who has been coaching for a very long time with various...
20 years.
20 years. Yeah, I could have asked him. He's right there. 20 years of coaching. Legend. He also has a glove company called Salmon Arms. So if you want to throw him $50 this whole room, that would be nice, I think he needs a new van. And then we got an absolute legend beside him, Marie-France Roy, one of my favorites of all time, filmed some of the best video parts ever. I think, did you win Female Rider of the Year a couple times in a row or something?
Let's not
Couple
talk about
times.
it.
Couple times. Yeah, a couple times there. Also started an absolute... Okay, yeah, I thought 2, but
Don't
okay,
believe the hype.
she's been overflowing with trophies, says Rasman. She also started an amazing event called the Triple Plank, which I'm sure a couple of you have been to. And then we have Jess Kimura, an absolute legend who's really put the female side of snowboarding on her back by starting a really important event that I've attended now, and I've gone to it, and the energy at that event is so it's incredible. And so if you're a brand and you're in here and you support it or anything, your money is going towards changing the future for the better. That event is the Uninvited. So yeah, we'll do the same thing with this last panel. Let's keep it open-ended here. How can we support, guide, and empower this next generation? Starting off with Nick. Yep. That microphone real close. I know you love being
so it's
loud.
been a while. I was listening to everyone and their points and stuff. I really enjoyed that. It was nice to see some like conflicting views a little bit, and like where money came into the conversation and stuff. And like I think it's really important to just remember that like when we started snowboarding, like money wasn't part of it, right? We're out there to like snowboard, meet people, and just do stuff. You said it's a sport. It can be a sport. It can be just for fun. It can be a way of connecting. It can be a way of just like basically forgetting what's, back at home, anything like that. So to like put a definition on what exactly it is, I think that's like a little closed-minded, right? But I think it's super important that we just, do our best to show people why we like snowboarding, right? Like, if you see that guy on the slope and he's got the whatever slider lock snowboard and his stance is this big, right? We can make fun of him, or we can tap him on the shoulder and just pull him aside and like set him up, right? And I think that's like something anyone in this room can do. You don't need to be a pro snowboarder. You can be a fan of snowboarding. You can work in a shop. Like, it's up to you to make snowboarding look cool.
Wow. Okay.
I agree with you. I think it's very common for younger people to come up to people like us, the old heads, and be like, how do I make it? And what's like, should I send my tape or whatever? And it's so funny because we didn't grow up this way. I mean, I never personally thought I would make it as a pro snowboarder. I didn't know there was money in it. And we did it because we loved the culture. It was a fringe community, no rules, no parents, no coaches, no offense. But I love that about snowboarding, and I hope we never lose that. And I think contests will always have a place, and we need it. But I think that, the love of snowboarding for what it is, you still see so many snowboarders in this town, like Joel Lovren, who most people here who snowboard work all summer to pay for what they love. And, even if the industry falls and collapse, we can still do that, which is a beautiful thing, So
yes.
Let's remember that.
Can you repeat the exact question?
Yes, I can. How can we support, guide, and empower the next generation?
Thank you. I kind of get lost when Murray's talking. In your eyes. I think not alienating ourselves from them. And I think there's a point, and I've seen you do this really well, the good part of it, that when you're a pro snowboarder or you're somebody in the industry who's established, at some point you get to a point where there's now a whole other generation below you. And it's hard not to feel weird that you're not a part of this thing. So that's when I think a lot of the old heads are like, oh, fuck you, kids don't know shit. But it's you don't talk to the kids, you don't involve yourself with the kids, and you don't put effort into going to the events to see the kids and building relationships with them. You can't just complain about something without doing something to change it. So I think just trying to be involved and get out there more. Thanks, Jody.
I think you said it, it's very important to, communicating and just give back. I'm 44, everybody knows now. I spend hours on the phone with random people. I get reach out from the kids on Instagram, hey, I love what you do. I'm kind of lost. I'm give me a number, let's chat. I'm really? And then we have a conversation for an hour. The kid is wow, man, you give me hope now. And that's all I want to hear. It's just give people let's hope again, And what you say about if the industry collapsed, we will still snowboard anyway. And I love what you say, because if you love snowboarding with or without money, you do it anyway. That gives me goosebumps, what you said. And it's the same for me, It's I love skateboarding and snowboarding, and I never been a sponsor or whatever, But I don't care. I loved it so much, and what you said, it's everything to me. Thank you. So I'm a full-time artist, and when I started, I never thought I could be a full-time artist. I just started, and it's just one drawing, two drawings, 3 years later, I felt like I had a chance to do it, but I never started thinking that I could live to be an artist, And I think that snowboarding should be the same, right? When you start, if you're 6 years old and you're I want to be a professional, that's maybe your parents push you so hard. And I think when you start, it's just because it's a fun thing. And if brands want to give you money to ride, that's an amazing thing. But the very first step should be just for the love of it, I guess. And when I hear teenagers being oh wow, I want to have sponsors, I'm bro, just snowboard. And it will come. I'm sure it will come.
It will come. It will. If you snowboard and you're young and that your only focus is to get sponsored, it'll happen. It'll happen faster than you expect. But at the end of the day, I don't know if that's going to be this magical place that you Maybe it will be. You know what I mean? It's all depends on your, perspective on everything. But don't put too much pressure on that, Enjoy those times where you're just doing it for the simple, I look back on those days and they were the greatest days of my life to some degree. I mean, I'm so happy about right now. It's perfect. Everything's great. But those I look at with fond memories when you're just this kid with wide eyes who just loves snowboarding.
I mean, same with you with airtime. When you started, what was the first drive for you? Were you like, I'm gonna make millions? No, it was just like you want to promote snowboarding, right? What was the Jody?
Well, I don't know if we want to hear the whole story, but it's kind of because I lost my mind during COVID. And my roommates were like, man, you talk a lot, and a lot of it's about snowboarding, so maybe you should talk to somebody else other than us. And so I did. Shout out Sean and Cash for getting me to do that. But anyways, we'll pivot this back to Nick here. What has coaching kids taught you about snowboarding and your relationship to snowboarding?
Well, I think the same thing that I was saying before is that I'm in the business as a brand owner and a coach. It's the same outlook, I'm here to build snowboarders. I'm here to show why snowboarding is fun and show that it's accessible to people. I come from a family that doesn't ski. I found snowboarding on my own, and it was people that kind of gave me tough love in the beginning. Obviously, I was super tall, and they thought I was older and shit, but it was that tough love that made me want to do it more, right? And I think being able to give that back to kids and show them that they can do anything if they put their mind to it, and they can participate, they can be part of it. They don't need to be a pro snowboarder. They don't need to be an athlete. They can just have someone that they trust show them the way, basically. And so that's what I'm here to do, and we can all do that. You don't have to be a coach to do that. Just literally ask a person a question on the chairlift, take a ride with them, and you might have built a fucking snowboarder for life there. So it's super important to just think about your actions rather than just complain about shit, right?
That's well said. Next here, what have you learned about community from starting the event, the Triple Plank, which has been a raging success?
Raging success. I learned that community is everything. It's the best thing that we have, whatever thing you're into. We're into snowboarding, skateboarding, surfing. That's what Triple Plank is about. But it's really about, the best part is bringing people together for about 4 days, camping together in the muddy parking lot, pissing rain, and somehow people are still stoked, and it's very impressive. And I don't know. I think I think with this social media era, whatever, there's a lot less time in person. Devun mentioned, he misses the times where the premieres came out and we all gathered. And I think that we need more of those in-person events, like what you just created. I can't believe how many homies are here tonight. I'm really impressed. Everyone's here. It's so cool, and I think that's the ticket, to be honest, and that's what keeps people coming. I was just on the chairlift today by myself with strangers, skiers. No offense, but I was like, this is so boring without my friends. And it's community, right? I love snowboarding, but when you have friends and you can share it with people and give back at the same time, it's the best. That's all I'll say.
I agree. Full time.
Yeah, it's one thing that I've realized now at my age and just being older and just going to Baldface and that risk maturity course, and you get together with a bunch of snowboarders, and once you've lived a life with somebody in the mountains, in the park, you hit that 15, 20, 25 year marker with people. It's not you saw them taco on a lip slide on a kink rail a long time ago, and you saw them overshoot a jump and land on their back, but you've also seen that person go through life and some real shit. And then 20 years later, when those people have been through real shit, and you get to see them, you realize you truly see how special those relationships are. And sometimes it's hard to show up to events like this, if you're really not, if life gets hard or whatever, especially for someone who's introverted or whatever, sometimes you wonder if you should even go. And the answer is you should go. Like, life does get hard, and maybe tonight you don't talk to that many people or whatever, but you got out of the house, and it's nice not to be at home sometimes alone with your thoughts, and it's great to sometimes just be hanging out in the pouring rain at the triple plank,
Come on out.
Jess, so it's kind of hard to put into words just how successful this event is. Like I said, going there firsthand really changed my whole perspective on this event. I knew it was important and stuff, but there was an energy in the air that I've never felt before. And I just want to hear you talk about, have you seen a shift or any changes from, starting this event?
Yeah, I don't know if it's from. Wouldn't say it's from starting the event, and I don't think it's the event itself that's so great. That the event itself is not what you felt. What you felt was a group of people who have never been pushed to the front of the line finally get pushed to the front of the line, and that's why it's such genuine excitement and stoke there, But yeah, things have changed a lot for the girls scene in the past few years. And with the event, it's easy to see firsthand in real time how fast it's progressing. And a lot of people say, oh, yeah, the girls are sick now. And of course, we want to support it now. But they don't realize that it's because there has been some visibility and there have been opportunities. It's not one without the other. The girls got good because people stopped telling them to fuck off. Straight up. And I feel like social media sucks in a lot of ways, but it's not black and white. I had to sign up the other day, connect my account with from one of my sponsors so they can watch our metrics, and that was scary. And I was like, that sucks. But the part that doesn't suck about social media is that it leveled the playing field. Anyone had the same chance to get seen. It wasn't the gatekeepers who were choosing who gets to be in the videos or who gets to be featured or who gets to be on the team. Everybody had a chance to show what they could do. So I think that had a huge thing to do with how fast things have progressed for the girls too, because they didn't have to wait for the one video with the one girl that was in it to come out. Or the one pro model of Darrah's, the shop. There's also a Capita pro model at that shop. I love you, Caleb, wherever you are. I do love you. Yeah, it's an Arbor.
Yeah, what about the Arbor
swoon.
pro model?
John, you have any responses for not carrying their pro models, or
Steve?
All right.
Yeah, they just don't tell anyone to buy it.
Jody, should we ask the crowd if they have any questions for those people? Do you have any questions? I would love to hear you a little bit if you want to say something.
All right, John from the Circle would like to add something.
Whose mic should I get? Do I sit again? Yes. I mean, just as social media, I think about this often. I bring this up, and it's on the Aaron Bittner airtime episode. But I don't know if he's still working at Skull Candy, but he mentioned something he's vouching for some rider, and then his bosses are who is this person? How many followers do they have? What's their social engagement? What's their reach? And Bittner's got to be no. This is just Kimura. She's more than followers. And I was that's so crazy that it's like that, because there are people that are like that. A perfect example, E-Man. If you know, E-Man's your favorite snowboarder's favorite boarder, and it's dude, E-Man doesn't play the game, but you watch him do something in the park, and you're just what the fuck? I seriously watched him do a nose slide through the Quad King one time, and I was that was the sickest thing I've ever seen. And it's it was crazy. You're just back foot out, so just perfect. And then he switched 50 to the next lap going so fast. I was dude, people don't realize how crazy that is. And it's people are yeah, but he's got no followers. You're yeah, who cares? That's what's changed nowadays is when we were growing up, the brands got to market the riders. They don't do anything. They're all just oh yeah, you have no followers. It's yeah, because you're not helping them get followers. But that's what it was. Back in the day, I was actually just talking about this, but some of my favorite boarders would never make it today. Like people like Scotty Whitlock or like Travis Parker, because like they're
We're talking about empowering the youth here, but
we're talking about the social media thing, but that like the social media thing, like it's true. But like I think that like the brand's got to do more for the riders, so that like it doesn't matter about followers.
You can buy followers, which I was always like, people wouldn't.
People do.
People do, and
All right,
I don't.
I'm out, thank you.
The brands must know that. So what? You can't just
that
judge
comes
someone
back
on their
to, like,
followers.
that-
The youth in the community.
that also comes back to like, you can buy followers, but who's engaged? They might like your post or whatever, but they may never
now they know, 'cause-
buy your Arbor Capita Pro model collab.
I think.
All right, let's pivot away from the follower world.
I think it's very important to stick to what you love. I see people saying like, "Oh, what's the trend on Instagram?" And like, "Fuck the trend. Just do what you love to do." People tell me like to dance with my art behind me. I say, "Fuck that." I just like do my thing, and I don't want to talk to the camera and say, "Hey, this is Lucas Beaufort, and today you're gonna see me paint." I would never do that. I do myself, even if I don't have millions of followers or likes. I think it's important to stick to who you are and stick with it, and you will feel better at the end of the day, I think.
I think that also goes to show, like, if you are yourself on social media, it is a tool. Like, you have to use it. It's 2025. Like, everyone uses it for everything. Everyone's glued to their phone. But, like, you have the power to use it in a good way, too. And, like, if you engage with your followers and if you answer a guy's DM, that's going to change their life, like, potentially, right? And if he's feeling bad and he's like, I do art or I snowboard or I skateboard or do whatever, like, you're leading them in the right direction. So,
Do you guys have any suggestions or actions that brands, companies should implement to help this next generation? I mean, all three of you guys kind of have a platform.
sorry, the question again.
Do you have any actions or values that you feel like companies should implement?
I think like things like this. Like, I don't know how many of you are actually in the industry, how many are just fans of snowboarding, and how many you just walked in the door to get a free beer. But it's up to us. Like, we control the power of what we can dictate what goes on. So if we have more things like this and we just gather up the mountain and, if we just show up to a place at a time and are all together, people will notice that. And that's important, right? Like, if it's the brand can be there or not be there, you're going to see the logo. Like, I once saw this, like, a meme, and it's like McDonald's, Amazon, all this shit, and then like a bunch of trees on the other side, and it's like, name any of these trees, but you can like see all the logos, right? Like, the brand is one thing, but like actually showing up or having the riders that are like on the hill or doing things like these guys, like that speaks way more, and that's going to trickle down. That's going to teach the people the right way. And, it's going to inspire them to do their own shit, start their own brands, start their own events. So it's important.
Do you two, as running two big, like the uninvited and the triple plank, do you feel like the companies that are involved, how much do they care about like those views after and stuff? Or do they genuinely know that they're supporting something that, for sure, there's going to be views and likes and photographers there, but there's a real community that's getting together, and to those companies that support it, do you genuinely think that they see that value?
I think we're gonna have different answers. Because my event, our event, is pretty ghetto, and yours is really professional. Big shout out to Nat Langman, who makes it happen for us every year.
It's now professional. Thanks to Nat.
And we have D Watt, best MC ever. But yeah, our brands don't care that much about views, I think. Maybe I'm missing something. They care. I think they care more about every brand's different, but I think they care about people coming together for a good cause and celebrating the culture of surfing, skateboarding, and snowboarding. I think, and I hope. And if they don't care about that and only care about views, then it's probably not going to be a long-term relationship. Just saying. But you have big boys on board.
Okay, first of all, our event is only professional because the whole point of it was to bullshit this professional thing with a huge ass prize purse being like, pay attention to the girls. This is a real thing. You guys are it, okay? So,
yeah, okay, sorry.
Otherwise, we would be ghetto. okay? Because we are behind the scenes. But yeah, I think that when you create, and I bet it's honestly the same for your shit, for the brands that actually attend your event in person and the brands that attend our event in person, the experience there and what it actually does, if it's like genuinely something, and like the brands that sponsored here tonight that might be in the room, they don't care about the views because they were there and they understand the impact that it had. And I think the people that don't, like the brands that like throw money at stuff and don't show up, they are looking for some sort of metric or some sort of return on investment. But as like with the uninvited stuff, like we're trying to be like, hey, how many, we had these deliverables, we want to send them to you, and they're like, don't worry about it. You know, a lot of the time they don't really give a shit. But when we're pitching new brands that have never been to the event, then they want to see the metrics, they want to see the numbers, and we can't really buy those. So we stick to the brands that support us now.
Do you three have any advice for snowboard companies to help the whole snowboarding go in the right direction, kind of? Do you have any, you're starting a brand, like what's your kind of your mission statement for like moving snowboarding, moving the needle in the right area?
I mean, again, like the same that I said with coaching. Like I'm here to build snowboarders. Like I don't care about business at all. And I've ran a company successfully for 15 years now, you know? I'm just doing it, I'm living it, and like you guys support it, you know? And like I think just showing up, if the brand wants to be part of it, like sure, you can throw money at anything. Like Coca-Cola throws money at every sport in the world, right? Or every country in the world. But like if they don't actually show up, then how do they know the metric or whatever, like you were saying? So I think the easiest way for the industry to see what's going on is by just being out there, right? Like ride a chairlift, you know, go to an event, you know, go to something you wouldn't normally go to, or like, you know, like influencers too, like influence the influencer, tell them what's cool.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think investing into riders who are doing cool shit, like multi-generational, the up-and-comers, it's really important, but also like supporting the mentors like Jess, who's giving back so much, like to the next generation. Like talk about a mentor and somebody that's doing everything beyond yourself. But like if Jess didn't have the support still, the uninvited wouldn't exist, you know what I mean? So it's like even you, like what you started, I think it's so cool to see how you're supported. Like even the bomb hole, you know, like it's, you see it, like even natural selection, it's like all pretty much the coolest things out there right now are rider driven and shop driven or community driven. So I think if the brands can keep investing in that, then we're in hopefully good hands.
That just made me think of something that kind of goes backwards. Like if you create something that people want to be a part of, people will come and support it, whether it's like the people who are attending or the brands. So I think if the brands can like flip that narrative on themselves and say, how can I create something that people want to be a part of, not just how can I create something that I want to be a part of that keeps me safe and my cool guy crew, you know? So I think just like thinking more on how can I create something that people want to be a part of.
Honestly, Jess, what you said is amazing about like when you said you can be a sponsor, like a brand from the industry, and if you don't come to the event, what do you know about it, you know? And I know there's some brands here, like Cole, for example, like they're here, Union as well, and they can talk about it. And you can see behind is like the whole industry are involved, and unfortunately they're not here, everyone. But I said to them, like, do you want to know what the common line is? Show up. And some people from those brands are here, and shout out to you guys, because now you can talk about it. And that's super important. It's like, if you just relate to numbers, it's like, oh, this video has just like 500 views. That's bullshit. Just show up and make your own opinion. So thank you, Jess, for saying that, because the most important is to be there. And you guys make the common line a fucking thing. So thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. I think for the locals here, if you did go to the Schmab premiere, which hopefully everybody in attendance went to, but whether you made it or not, like if you went to that premiere as a brand, no matter how many views those kids had on YouTube or whatever, if you were there, it was like one of the most like successful premieres I've ever been a part of. The energy was insane. There were so many homies. It was like the beginning of a new chapter, and it's like the only way to see that value was to be there. And so I love that we kind of ended on that note that like, if you do love the community and stuff, like be a part of it, show up. Like whether you're a brand or a snowboarder or somebody who goes twice a year, just like it's kind of like if we can keep telling our story, which doesn't necessarily need to all be cohesive, it'll go in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the love. Guys, very important. You have to know that this is just the first momentum tonight. We have another chapter, which is like all the boards. We have 22 boards we're going to give away tonight. We have like Caleb and Slistack and myself are going to paint on snowboards for an hour and a half. And then we give away everything. We sell raffle tickets for $10 at the counter. And all the proceeds will go to Zero Ceiling. So let's support them. I didn't tell you, but I have like millions of product to give away, like Oakley shades, goggle, so many things. So everybody's like buying a ticket. I'm sure you will get something. It's the beginning of the night. Thanks, everyone. Please stay here and connect. Talk to me, talk to everyone. And thanks, for the deep of my heart for coming here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.